We live in a time of relative abundance. As we speak, I'm sipping coffee out of a Hunter x Hunter mug, and I am eating cake. I'm eating. Let me get you. I'm eating cake. Unfortunately, despite living in a time of relative abundance, there are so many labor protections that are just not in any sort of place in the United States. If you're a full time employee, you are not entitled to a 40-hour work week. If you are a full time employee, you are not entitled to a standardization of your hours. You do not get to know what your hours will be after several weeks in advance, and that's if you're lucky. In Seattle, where the labor requirements are to know at least 2 weeks in advance when you have a shift, I have gotten. There's been weeks when I've gotten my schedule and I don't know what my schedule is by like Monday or Tuesday for the rest of the week. And that's in a place with protections. It's just that people don't actually enforce them. There's also needs to be more enforcement of mandatory breaks. If you are working an 8-hour shift, you should be entitled to at least two 10-minute breaks that are paid. And there should also be, for large employers, mandatory incremental raises for hourly wage workers. You should be getting a percentage above minimum wage. Like if you're working a minimum wage job, let's say your state has a $10 minimum wage, right? And you've been working there for 6 months, maybe bump that up to 10.50, and then another 6 months, I don't know, maybe 11. You should if you are working for an employer over a period of time, you should be getting wage increases. Like if you're working for Walmart, there's no excuse for them not giving you a raise after like 2 years. Alongside of that, paid medical leave, maternity leave, paternity leave, which a lot of people who even do maternity leave don't do, and vacation. Especially on the relation to paternity and maternity leave. When a baby is born, that is like the time period where the most bonding a parent will have with their child is. And the idea of a mother going back to work the day after, or even the same day as having a kid, is truly dystopian to me. Additionally, mandatory overtime on national holidays, shifts exceeding 8 hours, or the sixth and seventh shifts of a work week all make sense to me. The overtime laws in the United States are so weak that so many people who should definitely be getting overtime are not getting overtime. If you work like a 12-hour day, you should be getting overtime for those extra 4 hours. There's no reason you should be getting base pay. If you're making $10 an hour, 12 hours, you make $120. Is it even worth it at that point? Additionally, contract work, the laws related to that need to be tightened. We like if you look at a lot of large employers, they'll hire someone as a contractor so that they don't have to give them a lot of benefits that a regular employee would get. But if they're doing the exact job of an FTE and they're not being treated as an FTE, that seems shady to me. That seems really shady. Lastly, and this excludes like Boeing or whatever, like someone who makes planes. But if I think there should be an afford products clause in contracts for most companies. Like if you work at Gucci, you should be able to afford at least like one item from Gucci per month. Or if you work at like an apartment, you should be able to afford to live at that apartment. That just seems like basic common sense. Like if you work for a luxury apartment and if you're not able to afford to live there, that seems off to me. If you work for a company, you should be able to actually enjoy the products that you sell. And most importantly, please, 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 we need protections on mandatory lunch breaks. This cannot be stated enough. You should be guaranteed your 30 or 60 or however long your lunch break is, and you should not be allowed to be disturbed during it. You should be off the fucking clock, especially if you're not being paid for your lunches. Well, anyways, these are just some thoughts, but I would love to hear what your guys' thoughts are. I think that these would be like labor protection laws that would be focused on treating employees with human decency, because it seems like a lot of laws are so like I don't know, they're so dehumanized that they stop treating the people that they're supposed to serve like they're people. So I'd love to hear your thoughts, comments, concerns. Xandillions must follow if they want to see me in an Angel Devil cosplay. Stay in school. You rule. Dogs like to drool. What are you doing? Go. Why are you still here? Go.